Hello, welcome back to Erica's Welsh Garden. Today is Saturday the 23rd of May. I'm just out in my garden at home having a little bit of a look around. We have had kind of 24 hours of really bad wind but also loads of rain. So the ground is completely saturated, which is great. But I put all of my beans out, or not all of the beans, but almost all of my beans that have germinated and are growing out in the ground, and I did that the day before yesterday, so I have been a little bit worried about all of the rain bringing the slugs, but so far so good, everything is going okay. But I wanted to do a video today just to show you all of the beans that I've got growing, where I've got them growing, because I think I've got beans on both my allotments. I've got beans in my front garden, or in, you know, the front of the house. I've got beans on my patio. I've got beans on my second a little patio area, kind of halfway between my garden and the woodland, and then I've also got beans in the woodland as well. So I wanted to show you and talk to you about all of the beans and some of the beans that I'm still planning on growing. So let's go and have a look at the beans. I'm not sure where we're going to go first because I do need to go down the allotment, so maybe we will go to the allotment, but it is very, very windy down there, so it might not be actually any video footage. I might just have to take you some photos, to be honest, because my allotment gets so much wind. I made this bean arch, and within 24 hours the bean arch was pretty battered. If you don't follow me on social media, check my Facebook and my Instagram page out, because I have put some photos up of that. But anyway, let's go and have a look at some beans. With all of the wind that we've received lately, my woodland garden seems to be protected by all of these trees. I have a bean arch here that I created, and this is a perfect area for my beans because it seems to get quite a good amount of light throughout the day, but then it's kind of right at the edge of both beds, so it doesn't have to take up much room in much room in terms of the raised bed, so it's absolutely perfect. I am growing Simms Corsair up here. I started off with 10 of these bean seeds last year from the Heritage Seed Library, and I think I managed to save about 40 odd seeds, which is pretty cool. What I've done though is I've put the bigger seeds, or the bigger seedlings, just at the beginning of the canes, and then the smaller ones are just at the end there. And I've done the same on this side too. So these ones are much smaller, and these ones get a little bit bigger. Now I am a little bit concerned on this side because these are my first early potatoes, and as you can see they are quite a little bit taller than these, and these are going to be in the shade until they manage to catch onto the canes and go all the way up. So fingers crossed these do okay. This part of my garden, has got loads of slugs in, but so far I don't think any of them have any signs of slug damage whatsoever. The reason that I put the smaller ones towards the end is if they don't do very well, I'm just going to whip those out and put a couple of maybe French beans in here. With runner beans, if you're looking to save the seeds, they do cross-pollinate with each other, so it's not a good idea to grow beans anywhere near ones that you do wish to save the seed from. With these runner beans, they are a black bean, and I think they are a cross between two other types of bean, but they were stabilised by Simms Corsair, and then they were donated to the Heritage Seed Library. What I really liked about growing these beans last year was each pod had about 7 or 8 beans in, and I'm planning this year on saving lots for drying and for stews in the winter and stuff. So hopefully these are going to do really well and provide me with lots of beans that I can save for the winter. Here we are on this really old kind of patio area between my garden and the woodland, which is up there. Totally overgrown, this area. I have tried to tame it a good few times, but it's going to need a lot of work and digging out. But this area is absolutely perfect for growing things in pots and stuff, because it gets a nice amount of light during the day. These buckets I've got here are actually what I had bought at the beginning of the year for potatoes to grow in. They're 30 litres, but I just didn't get around to putting any potatoes in there. All of my potatoes went into the ground. This variety I've got here is a French bean called Blue and White. This is also from the Heritage Seed Library. I'm so excited with these because they were really lovely, kind of like dark green and purple speckled bean. But every single bean that I got from them germinated. So I'm just really hopeful that they're going to do so well here and I can save lots of seeds. Now you can eat this bean, this French bean, in any way you want, but it's really best for a drying bean. I can't remember what colour the beans were, whether they're going to make my food exciting or not, I'm not sure. But really pleased with that. I also have another bucket over here that is only half full at the moment, which has got a mixture of topsoil, worm castings and compost in, and it's the same for that. I think I used that compost last year for growing some pumpkins in as well, so I might have to add a little bit of feed to it, but it's got a good mix of you know, different things in there. But this one here does need to be filled up with more soil and compost before I plant anything in there. But yeah, that is what I've got growing in this area. With French beans, generally they don't cross-pollinate, but if you do want to save seeds from them that are going to be true, it's a really good idea to make sure you don't have any beans or any French beans within about 10 meters of the same bean. What I've done with the beans that I've not put out yet is I've just brought them into these little propagators I've got. Now originally I'd actually sown these in these trays and left them out on my steps during the day and brought them in at night, so they were perfectly acclimatised to being outside apart from just bringing them in at night. But we have had so much rain the last kind of 24 hours, 48 hours that I decided just to bring them in to this little propagator just to stop them getting battered, and you know, I didn't want them to be taken by any of the slugs and snails that were going to be coming out hungry. So the beans that I've got growing here are, I've got this variety called Portuguese Red. Now this is also from the Heritage Seed Library, and I had 10 of these this year and only 2 look really healthy, and there's 3 more that have kind of come out that just don't look very good at all. Now this is really sad because Portuguese Red is actually a red podded bean. I've not seen any of these red podded beans anywhere else at all. I tried growing them last year, they all germinated. I planted them up in my woodland near my Sims Corsairs and they got completely eaten. Not one of them survived. So I'm so scared that I'm not going to get a harvest from them this year. But I think what I'm going to do, because I've only got 2 of them really, I'm going to pot these on and I'm going to grow them in a pot somewhere where nothing can get anywhere near them, because I really want to save the seeds from this. With the Heritage Seed Library, you get a catalogue every year and you get to choose your 5 beans that you want to grow. Now these beans were not in this year's seed catalogue, so I actually rang them up and said please was there any way I could choose them as well, and luckily they were able to give me some as my lucky dip, so thank you so much to them. But I really want to make sure that they grow. So yeah, hopefully they're going to do okay. The next lot of beans that I've got here are just, I bought these seeds actually, I don't know if it was Thompson Morgan or someone like that, I'm not sure. But these are a Bolotti bean, so I'm going to be saving these for dried beans. I think I've got 1 bean in each, but as you can see, these 2 pots here are not showing any signs of germination yet, but then this one here is just germinating, so it could be that these are a couple of days behind. I don't know where these are going to go, if they're going to go on my patio at the allotment out the front of the house yet, I'm not sure. And then I've got these ones here which are Brecon Black. Now these are a runner bean. I grew these on my patio last year, but they didn't do that well, to be honest. They didn't get loads of beans, you know, they didn't grow loads of beans, and I'm in two minds what I'm going to do with these this year, because they're a heritage bean. They are saved. I got the seeds from somebody in Monmouth. He's got a seed library. His name's Adam Alexander, and he was so kind to send me these beans. They're called Brecon Black. They're a black bean that were grown by someone near Brecon and saved. I live not far from Brecon. I wanted to grow them because of that, but they're actually not that great. So what do you think I should do? Do you think I should grow them again? You know, it's amazing to be able to save these seeds. You know, without these seed libraries, we wouldn't get things like that red bean that I was just talking about there. But they're not that great. But I am going to grow them again this year, you know, see what happens with them. But they're going to be grown on my patio, which is very far from my woodland garden. So hopefully they're not going to cross, but you never know. Also, it's a black bean. The other one up there's a black bean. So if they do cross, I'm not actually going to know. I've got some more under here. Let's have a look. Oh, bird's egg is back. That is a climbing French bean, also from the Heritage Seed Library. That's a drying bean again. The seed looks like an egg. I think that's why it's called bird's egg. Here I've got Canadian Wonder. They've only just gone in, and you can see the beans kind of trying to jump out of the soil there, so I probably should cover them. They are a dwarf French bean, and they are prolific, apparently. One of the most prolific type of dwarf beans. This is the first year I'm growing dwarf beans, so we'll see you know how it does. But yeah, they went in a little bit later. Then I have got another lot of French beans here. These are not French beans, sorry, these are runner beans. These are called White Lady. They went in quite a bit later, actually. These are saved seed from Liz Zorab, so we'll see how they do. I'm probably not going to save the seeds from them this year, but they will go in down at my allotment and, you know, provide some beans for drying and, you know, eating straight off. In the other I wish. In the other greenhouse here, I've got some more beans. So I've got a dwarf French bean called Annabelle. They're doing okay. I don't know too much about these. I bought the seeds for them this year from kind of another high street seed supplier. I've got some dwarf beans at the back called Stanley. They are not doing very well at all. I had 10 of these. I had 10 put in here, and only 3 have come up, and only 1 looks slightly worth it. I picked up these seeds from the I picked these seeds up from Bristol Seed Swap at the beginning of this year. So maybe the seed was old or something. The only reason I picked them up was because my son is called Stanley. So I thought, you know, it might interest him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, even that one, to be honest, looks a bit ropey. I've also got some of those growing in the polytunnel at the allotment, so I'll show you that one in a bit. Here you have Greek Gigantes. These are also from Liz over at By the Farm. So again, I mean, these are runner bean, so I don't necessarily know if I'm going to save the seeds this year, but Greek Gigantes, oh my goodness, when you eat them, they're like a little pocket of mashed potato. They are lush, absolutely lush. But yeah, they're not big enough to put out yet. Over here we've got Edamame Beans. This is a soya bean. So this bean here is the highest protein content, I think, of any bean going. So I've never grown them before. I'm going to give it a go this year, but they've only recently gone in. But they seem to be kind of, you know, they're germinating okay. But yeah, only just gone in. And then I think that's the last of the beans that I've got, but I'm also trying lentils. I bought some seeds for some lentils a couple of years ago, and I never grew them, but I'm getting more interested in growing my own protein, really. My son's a vegetarian and my husband has gone plant-based at the beginning of the year, so we do eat a lot of, you know, most of our main meals are plant-based. So if I can grow some lentils, it will be amazing. One of the people that really inspired me this year to grow lentils was Vivi. So I'll put a link to her channel below, actually. She's a vegetarian, I think, but she pretty much is self-sufficient on beans, and I think earlier on one of her social media posts she said she was going to be growing 300 beans this year, and that's just for herself. I've got chickpeas here as well. These chickpeas were also seeds that I bought a couple of years ago, but I never really did anything with. So these both seem to be germinating quite well, but they're a little bit slower than the French and the runner beans. So we'll see how they grow this year. And on the left hand side here we have some green lentils. Now these ones went in after these kind of white or yellowy lentils, but these green ones are growing way faster and doing really well. But these are from the supermarket, so we had some in the cupboard and I thought I'll give it a go and grow these. So we'll see how they do. Obviously they weren't grown in the UK originally, so I'm not sure what climate, you know, what climate these seeds are already used to, but we will see. So I think that is all of the beans that I haven't planted out that I've got growing at the moment. But yeah, I've got to make room for them now, haven't I? Next to the little greenhouses I've got, I have two pots here of climbing French beans. These are both the same variety called Blauhild. I think that's how you pronounce them. They're a purple podded bean that grow really well, and they froze really well as well. I got them free in a magazine last year. I think it was Grow Your Own, but I was so worried about the seeds. Actually, I didn't think they were going to germinate this year because I tried to dry the pods on you know, on the canes, on the vinyl, whatever, and we had so much rain last year that some of them started going mouldy and they didn't look nice at all. Like, you would not want to put them as a dried bean in your food because they just looked really yucky, but they germinated so well. So I've got them here, and I've also got them down at the allotment as well in a in one of the raised beds down there. So yeah, really happy with that. And yeah, they will be hopefully just picked every day, put in the freezer so they can keep us going, you know, all year. So we're back on the patio and I have another pot of beans here. These are a climbing French blossy bean. Someone gave these to me, so I'm not sure of the exact variety, but I only had 8, so I put some more of those Blauhild behind. Now if I want to save the seeds from these, you know, they could have quite easily cross-pollinate, and they can also cross-pollinate with my Blauhild because, you know, they're very close together. But what I was hoping for was, I have some of the Blauhild at my allotment. No one else grows any French beans at my allotment, so I'm going to save the seeds from those and just kind of let everything here kind of mingle and stuff. But hopefully, you know, you can see these are much taller than any of the other beans I've got. So, you know, hopefully these are going to provide me with some, you know, early meals. We're at the allotment now, and I've never grown beans in between my tomatoes before, but I thought I'd give it a go. I've never even grown beans in a polytunnel or a greenhouse before, but I've got some dwarf French beans growing here, and they're called Calidor, I think. So I have 3 plants in the middle there. I've got 3 plants here, a couple behind. I've got some here, there, and I did put a row of some Stanley at the very back, and I think 1 has come up, possibly 2, I'm not sure, but we will see how they do. It's so crowded in this area of my polytunnel, but I just think, why not give it a go? If they grow well, it's some harvest that I can get out of soil that would not have grown anything before. The only thing is, I've been watering it a lot more. As you can see, there's lots of little seeds that have come up, but we'll see how it does. What do you think? Have you ever grown in between your tomatoes before? It is so windy at my allotment today. My bean arch has still survived, but I did try and repair it yesterday and I nearly got blown completely off the ladder, so I'm going to wait until we have some better weather. Actually, in my allotments, I've got 2 lots of beans. I've got some more of that Blauhild, the purple French bean that I've got growing on my patio. I think I'm going to save the seeds from those ones. They are just on the edge of a raised bed that I'm planning on putting maybe sweet corn or some pumpkins in or something like that. I'm not sure yet. And I've also got on my bean arch that is falling apart, I have just some generic runner bean seeds that I saved a couple of years ago from ones that came through in a magazine. I don't know the variety of those ones. At the front of my house as well, I did try filming there, but it was just so windy. I have some dwarf French beans called Gok, I think that's how you pronounce it. They are from the Heritage Seed Library. I think only 6 out of the 10 did germinate, so that's a little bit annoying, but they like windy environments apparently, and I think, if I've got this right, I'm so excited about it, the pods are green on one side and pink on the other side or something like that. So if that is the case, I can't wait for them to grow. It's going to be amazing. I'm so sorry that this video is probably really long, so I'm not going to do bean videos like this every week or every month because you're just going to get bored of it. So I just really wanted to kind of give you a show of what I was growing. Also, it's really not too late to have a go at growing lots more beans if you want to give it a go. It's not, you know, I think you can plant like French beans until July, so you know, keep going. I think a lot of these seeds can probably get on Amazon. I'll put links below, or I'll let you know where I got them below. Again, with things like the lentils, have a go at growing the ones that you've got from the supermarket. Give it a go, why not? I don't think they need much space, and you know, they're a bit wispy anyway, so give it a go. Thank you so much for watching today though, and if you are new and I've not bored you to death, please do hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you can be notified of all of my latest videos. There's a couple of videos up on the screen now that YouTube think you'll like, so please do watch one of those. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.